Mr. Depp's claim against Ms. Heard. 1. As to the statement appearing in the online op-ed entitled, "Amber Heard, I spoke up against sexual violence and faced our culture's wrath. That has to change," in the Washington Post online edition. Quote, "I spoke up against sexual violence and faced our culture's wrath. That has to change," end quote. Do you find that Mr. Depp has proven all the elements of defamation? Answer, yes. Has Mr. Depp proven by a greater weight of the evidence that, question, the statement was made or published by Ms. Heard? Answer, yes.
Well, here we are, breaking news. Johnny Depp has been successful in his defamation lawsuit. He has won over $10 million from his ex-wife, Amber Heard. This is not a shock. We did expect this to happen. And, we didn't really cover this that much. We said it in passing and stuff like that. The reason is there are a lot of people out there. I congratulate Dan Umbrella Guy for his coverage, REKIETA Law, and many other the law tubers out there that have done fantastic coverage of this case. It's amazing what these internet journalists, and this is what we're being called now, internet journalists, are doing right now. And the thing about it is, at this point, and I'll tell you straight out because there is an op-ed coming. There's an op-ed coming out. I've gotten hints of this. Basically, there are people that are going to try to slam most of these internet journalists. They're doing an article to say how much they make because the thing about it is, the reality is, you're seeing a lot more people on the internet journalist sites like that Umbrella Guy and REKIETA Law and Nerdrotic and many others who have done coverage of many things that have been going on throughout the internet. Now, as far as the case went, it seems like across the board, Johnny proved his case across the board. So from one point perspective, he was awarded altogether about over $15 million. Now, due to Virginia law, part of it is capped off at, the way I understand, at $350,000. So from a technical aspect, he's got about like $10 million at that point. Now, the other half of the story, the Amber's part of the lawsuit, her countersuit, parts of it she did win on that, which basically awarded her about $2 million. So basically, and also the extenuating part of the defamation, she won 0. So it's kind of a whitewash on that alone. So technically, she's getting 0. When it finally comes down to the end, Johnny walks out with $8 million. So basically, in a way, Amber's got to return her money that she got from her divorce case, plus an additional $1 million. I mean, this is a big win. If you've been following this case for the last 6 weeks, you've noticed the consistencies. You noticed the lies that have been funneled in. This is not a case of spousal abuse on the wife's side. This is a woman who is deeply, deeply mental issues. And this is the problem out there. There are women that are actual abuse victims. What Amber has done is made it harder for them to come forward. You know, when you have situations like this, where the courts are telling you that this is going on, that, you know, this is the evidence. This is the evidence that's presented to you, and you see the evidence. You've seen, you know, there's a lot of stuff that was not put into this case. And if it would have been put in this case, it would shine even a greater light, which that Umbrella guy and REKIETA Law and many others, Popcorn Planet, before I forget them as well, Andy Signori, that have brought out and have shown to the public. You know, I sat there, watched every video, and the thing is that you look to the perspective, how much damage Amber Heard did to Johnny Depp's career. There was supposed to be that movie to come out, Mina Mata, about a photographer. You know, we haven't really seen it as of yet. I don't even think it's been released, and it's been delayed. I think it's been delayed because of this whole situation on there. And you look to the perspective that, you know, Disney says, well, we're not going to put him in the next Pirates of the Caribbean, to the situation, but they're still making money off of him. There's still a Jack Sparrow on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. There's still a Jack Sparrow in their theme parks. There's still all this material, all these video DVDs and Blu-rays that they're selling. So they haven't moved away from Johnny Depp, but they're basically not allowing him to make any more money to the situation. And for them to bring out, the defense to bring out to say, hey, you know, there was no contract. There's no contract. You know, that is a lie in the Hollywood business. I have worked on businesses that worked in the industry that, you know, we do a verbal agreement. We do a total verbal agreement. And then when the project starts, then we sign the contracts. This is not something that is not unusual. Big contracts do end up like this all the time. And as soon as the case came over, I just wanted to read two things. There has been statements from Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. Let's look a little bit into this. The disappointment I feel today is beyond words. I'm heartbroken that the mountain of evidence was still not enough to stand up to the disproportionate power, influence, and the sway of my ex-husband. There was no power there. There was no power at all. Oh boy. I'm even more disappointed with what this verdict means for other women. It is a setback. It sets back the clock of time to when a woman who spoke up and spoke out could be publicly shamed and humiliated. It sets back the idea that violence against women is to be taken seriously. I believe Johnny's attorney succeeded in getting the jury to overlook the key issues of freedom of speech and ignore the evidence that was so conclusively that we won in the UK. What freedom of speech are you talking about? You got to sit there and give your story. I'm sad I lost this case, but I am sadder still that I have not lost a right that I thought I had as an American to speak freely and openly. My dear, you spoke freely and openly. The problem is you didn't know when to be quiet when the judge told you not to respond. If they tell you yes and no, you have to answer yes and no and not add a story to it. That goes for anybody that goes on trial for anything. Go back to every trial, Rittenhouse, every other trial that has been behind this, any defamation trials. This is normal juris order that's normally in the courtroom. And you have to understand that you brought your evidence out. The jury didn't believe you because it was obvious. If it's obvious to lawyers on YouTube, no matter whether it is the independent journalist or whether it's network lawyers, they saw it to the fact that said there are questions here. The photos alone, I mean, the TMZ video right there proved that basically you did give it to them because you had it. Did you give it to anybody? Did you admit to giving it to anybody? No, you didn't. You said, I never gave it. So how did TMZ get it and get a copyright on it? It's not easy to get a copyright unless you have the copyright holder saying, yes, I will give you the right to this video. It's simple. Like I said, the problem is she needs help. She needs total help because basically in her mind, she has a lot of issues. a lot of issues. And we've heard this. We've heard from many other actors online. There's a couple of videos from Andy Signori. He had on an actor that was in a movie with her. Never Back Down, I think was the movie called. She was in that film. One of her co-stars gave all the spill out on Andy. Check it out on Popcorn Planet. That she was kind of a bit of a crazy. And the same thing went for, you heard this situation out there, which got partially put in. They didn't go deep into it because there were a lot of rejections, that her ex, that she was arrested for domestic violence with her ex. And this was pushed onto the story on the Never Back Down set. There were a lot of lies that were put in that were confirmed by other people that didn't testify. And there were more people that testify on there. My shock was that James Franco or Elon Musk didn't show up on there. But hey, listen, if you noticed in the court, if you saw the courtroom, only her sister showed up. Most of her friends have pretty much, they've abandoned her. They're not around her anymore. And you have to ask yourself, why is that? Now, here's the response from Johnny Depp. This was over on Instagram. 6 years ago, my life, the life of my children, the lives of those closest to me, and also the lives of the people who for many, many years have supported and believed in me were forever changed. All in a blink of an eye. False. Very serious and criminal allegations were levied at me via the media, which triggered an endless barrage of hateful content, although no charges were ever brought up against me. It had already traveled around the world twice within a nanosecond, and it had a seismic impact on my life and my career. And 6 years later, the jury gave me my life back. I am truly humbled. My decision to pursue this case, knowing very well the height of the legal hurdles that I would be facing and the inevitable worldwide spectacle into my life, was only made after considerable thought. From the very beginning, the goal of bringing this case was to reveal the truth regardless of the outcome. Speaking the truth was something that I owe to my children and to all those who have remained steadfast in their support of me. I feel at peace knowing that I finally accomplished that. I am and I have been overwhelmed by the outpouring of love and the colossal support and kindness from around the world. I hope that my quest to have the truth be told will have helped others, men or women, who have found themselves in my situation, and that those supporting them never give up. I also hope that the position will return to innocent until proven guilty, both within the courts and in the media. I wish to acknowledge the noble work of the judge, the jurors, the court staff, and the sheriffs who have sacrificed their own time to get to this point, and to my diligent and unwavering legal team who did an extraordinary job in helping me to share the truth. The best is yet to come. A new chapter has finally begun. Veritas nunquam pereat, truth never perish. Johnny Depp. And see, this is the problem. This is the problem that we've had. In this country, a lot of people have forgotten the most important thing. Innocent until proven guilty. And the biggest thing is facts and evidence. This is why we push on the Vic Mignogna case as well. Vic Mignogna is still going through the same situations. He has been accused of things that basically there are no facts, there are no evidence. It's only word of mouth. Nothing has ever been brought up. Charges have been brought up. There have been no police reports, none of the above. But yet you have people even in his own circle, those above, corporate media that have portrayed him as guilty. And there are many others that are out there. Some of them have won their cases, and some of them are still fighting their cases, and some of them have lost their cases. And this is Hollywood. This is the Hollywood elite. and this is also the Me Too movement. This is a big strike against the Me Too movement, and I'll tell you why. You have somebody who has lied on the stand, and we've seen this. We've seen this on this moment. She is not the voice of the Me Too movement. She is not the voice of women who have been battered. A woman that should be up there should be a regular woman that has been having hard times trying to get her case heard. Do you understand? There are women out there that their cases doesn't see the light of day. That's the ones we need to concentrate on. This whole bullshit situation where the media drags the person through the freaking mud before they even see what the evidence is, and then when they get caught on it, when they get caught on the lies, they double down on it. They don't apologize. And when they do change their articles, they put it very hidden in the article so you don't see it. You know, the thing about it is, and I tell people a lot of times, when you read an article, go through the entire article. They expect you to read the first 2 paragraphs, but the truth is further down in the page. That's right, folks. It's the truth is further down in the page. This has been happening from the mainstream media, and as I said in the beginning of this broadcast, understand that the media right now is coming after the internet journalists. They're coming after us, the YouTubers, next now. We are going to be under siege very soon. There is an op-ed coming. We've heard this from some YouTubers that said that they've been contacted by the media who wants to know about how much we make on these live chats and all these live streams that we do, how much money we make, how much money we make from merch. Because the one thing that the internet journalists, the YouTubers, the law tubers, what did they bring out? The truth. That is the basics. Facts, evidence, and they gave their own opinion. But they still had the truth in there. Plenty of interviews. Many people have come across to these people and said, listen, this is what happened. And they've brought that evidence forward. Some of it you may have seen in the trial. Some of it not used at all. And if Amber Heard think that she won that case in the UK, that was the Sun, number one. Number two, some of the things that she said here can be used against her in a court in the UK. Now, does the UK court follow through? That's up to a UK court. I can't speak to it because I'm not a lawyer and I'm not familiar with UK laws. But there's always a possibility. And remember, Australia is looking at charges to her concerning the situation with her dogs, that she illegally brought her dogs into the country because that is a violation of environmental laws. Actually, a lot of countries have those laws, including here. When you bring animals into a country, in a foreign country, they have to stay in isolation for quite some time to make sure they're not bringing in any ticks, fleas, or anything that will damage the environment. But Amber Heard skipped that. So there's a possibility that she may be looking at legal charges on there. Now, the thing about it is, they can't really extradite her. They can charge her, find her guilty. In other words, I would say to Amber, stay away from the UK and stay away from Australia for a while. Because basically, you step foot on that ground, they could arrest you. And that is possible. Ask Kevin Spacey. He's under arrest at this point. So, $8 million to Johnny Depp, 0 for Amber Heard. You know, most of the media will tell you, well, she won $2 million. Well, unfortunately, that kind of wipes it out because Johnny's got 10. So that kind of a whitewash in itself. We'll see what happens next. Will there be an appeal? Honestly, most likely no, but knowing Amber Heard, she'll probably look into it and try, which would be a big mistake. Because basically the way the jury found it, I mean, they can't really, a appeals court, I don't think they can go any further with that, honestly. And that's my own opinion, and not a legal opinion, my own opinion. Because basically, when you look to the perspective, is that she got, she was found that there was some defamation on there. So there was with an appeal, when you look at it at the end, it's pretty much, both sides got something. So why would an appeals court override that? So we'll continue to look at the situation, see what happens next for both of these parties. And remember, subscribe, like, share. And also subscribe, like, share to all the other internet journalists, YouTubers out there, because the next probably couple weeks is going to be big.